Allah doesn't make any mistakes.
But the
So if there is
Quran
one
itself-
mistake, I wouldn't believe in Allah.
But the Quran
In
itself
Islam.
doesn't even say one mistake. It says that
No, it says there isn't a mistake.
It says if it were for any other than Allah, there would be many contradiction in. So that
Not
would
just one. So
Yeah,
it shows
exactly.
because that person is careless.
So that would
just
mean-
show me one.
That would mean
I don't
that
want many, I want
even
one.
if you saw one, that's not enough. You
Show
still
me.
need many.
You
Show
put
me
that in
one.
your pocket.
Sure.
So.
Show me one mistake.
So what do you judge as a mistake, just so I'm clear?
A mistake, something that is illogical, unreasonable, or contradicts reality.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's go to Surah 18.
Surah 18. What is
Yeah.
it?
What do you mean the name of it?
What is it? What does it say?
So let's go to Surah 18 and
I do actually. I'm sorry. Yeah.
okay. So let's go to Surah 18. Let's go to like verse 85 and let's read from there.
85.
Yeah.
Okay, Surah Al-Kahf.
Okay.
Okay. فأتبع سببا. 58.
No, Surah 18 verse 85.
85.
Yeah.
When he was nothing,
Okay.
let's understand the process.
So actually, let's even start from a little bit earlier. Go up a few ayahs. Let me just start at like 80.
I'm talking about an universe came from nothing.
Right.
وأما الغلام
Okay,
فكان
okay,
أبواه
go
مؤمنين.
down a little bit. Let's try. Is it 81?
Read the just
That's
tell me,
fine.
read
Keep
it
going
and tell
down.
me.
Keep going down. 82. Keep going down a little bit. And then go down to 83. Yes, there you go. Let's start at 83.
They ask you, O Prophet, about Dhul Qarnayn. Say, I will relate to you something of his narrative.
Okay.
Okay,
Can I ask you a question, please?
go for it. If I know the answer, I will answer.
Okay. You said a contradiction would contradict reality or be illogical.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you please find me anywhere in history where anybody called Dhul Qarnayn has ever existed? Anywhere.
I told you something that is unreal, something that is outside of
You
reality
said,
or illogical.
okay, awesome. That's
no,
not
this
reality.
is the thing, this is-
Where is Dhul Qarnayn, please?
Dhul Qarnayn, there are many, what do you call it, narrations that say he might be this person or that person, but there is no solid, based on my knowledge.
So he doesn't exist.
No, he does exist.
Who is he?
He does exist. I don't know him personally, but there are ijtihadat
Point me
that say
anywhere.
that it's that person or that person. Okay,
Okay.
I don't know them personally, but what I'm saying
But
is,
then,
where
none
is-
of these people that you're pointing at, whether it's Cyrus or Alexandra, they don't fit the description of what happens
so
next.
that means it's not them,
Okay.
because the Quran,
so
like
who
you
is
said, it doesn't say it's them. It doesn't say it's that person
So
or
who
that
is it
person.
then?
I don't know personally. I don't
Okay.
know.
So here, the Quran is literally giving you no information. It's just saying
Yeah, it is giving
something
you
that makes no
information.
sense.
Yes, it does make sense.
Okay, how can it make sense if then in reality we cannot find justification for it?
He's asking about ذو القرنين. قاعد يقول ان غير حقيقي لانه مش سايرس ومش الكسندر ذا جريت، فمن هو؟ ولو ما تعرف تقول لي من هو يبقى القران يقول في اشياء كذب غير حقيقيه. Do you understand me? Yeah, so this is his argument. هذا كلامه or his argument against the Quran, the falsification test, saying that should be contradictions or things that are unreal. It's just like right now, let's say gravity. It was theorized hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, and it's still a theory up to this day. But we can still feel its reality, but we can't prove it.
Can
Just
we
a
feel
second,
the
just a
reality
second,
of Dhul Qarnayn, please?
Yes, we do. If
Where
we
is
don't
it,
know who he
please?
is today, they're gonna know at some point. Show me something that you can prove. That's a lie. That's 100% lie, and it's been
Dhul
proven.
Qarnayn is a lie.
Tell him to prove to you the resurrection of Jesus.
They believe in that stuff.
No, he just only believe. Tell him.
Show us.
Tell him
Dhul
resurrection of
Qarnayn is
Jesus.
a lie.
This is what you want to believe,
No,
and I'm telling you,
And
right?
listen,
I don't know who Dhul
it
Qarnayn
even
is.
gets
Let me
better.
give you my answer.
We can read down
As
some more.
a person who is not a scholar.
We can
okay,
read down
I'm just
more.
a layman.
Okay.
All right. I'm telling you
So,
something. That
Pause
Dhul
for a
Qarnayn
second.
is
So
a person
we've
that existed.
established, right, that
You've established for yourself.
you wanted some kind of contradiction,
Yes.
right? And you specified what you saw as a contradiction.
Okay.
And you said something that does not align with reality.
Yes.
Dhul Qarnayn
What is
does
reality?
not
What is
align with reality.
What is reality?
You can say what we can observe, for example, with our senses,
All right.
right?
So you haven't observed the opposite. So how can you say that it contradicts something? Where does it contradict? What does it
so
contradict?
if you want to carry on reading, let's carry on reading,
Alright.
and then we can see a description of what Dhul-Qarnayn did. So if we cannot find the man himself, or this thing he supposedly built,
Okay.
then it is sufficing to say that what you're reading here is a fairy tale, and it's not real.
My friend.
No, that is in about Jesus. You can say that. You can say
Exactly.
Muhammad is a fairy tale, please, not Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is very real, but Muhammad unfortunately doesn't exist. You don't have a single proof about anything to do with Muhammad going back to the 7th century.
And he won't
Nobody
apply.
believes in Muhammad but you
The Bible-
guys. That's
the
all.
Bible we have today,
He asked-
okay, has no connection with Jesus.
And
You
the
have
Quran
any-
you have
can
today was
can you
written in
have-
1924.
So polite.
So Muhammad, from my understanding, wasn't alive in 1924. That's fine, go
The
ahead.
Quran was written in 1924.
You have Sunnah
Sure.
manuscript.
The Quran,
You have
you're saying, was
Quran
written in
criteria.
1924.
They
My friend, have you been to Cordoba? Have you seen
There
why?
is no.
Where's your boy?
You haven't seen the Quran written on rocks.
We don't know who they are.
There's some
We know in the Quran.
That's not 1924. Come on,
But he's in the Quran you have today.
The
And by the way,
the
it's not the full
what do you
Quran.
mean?
Is it the Quran you
The
have
Quran that we have today is the same that was written by the people's companion, the Prophet's companion. You can say no, but the scientists, and the scholars, I'm not talking to you. Okay, what I'm saying is that there are contradictions. I'm not talking to you.
What about the Caliph Osman? Didn't he
I'm not
burn
talking to you. I'm
Quran?
not talking to you. The Khalifa
He
Uthman was at
did.
the time of the Prophet. Was at the time of
But
the
he
Prophet.
burned Qurans
And the
afterwards.
Prophet ﷺ gave them the order, and he told them that the Quran should be in this order. They followed it and compiled
Wasn't
it.
at the time of the Prophet.
So Uthman, the retention was 652.
Can you apply
20 years
your
after Muhammad
criteria?
died.
The criteria of contradiction that I gave you, if you want to apply it to the Quran, your
Let's keep looking.
argument is destroyed.
Because there's
But
more.
the contradictions I asked you about and what started this conversation,
Again,
you still haven't
You told me
answered them.
that if
Last
I
time
show
we
you
talked in that
one
corner,
contradiction
last time we talked
in the
that
Quran,
corner,
you would
there
leave
isn't-
Islam.
this is-
So
this isn't a
now all I'm
contradiction.
seeing is that
This
if I
isn't a
show you
contradiction.
contradictions, then all
Show
it
me
means,
contradiction.
okay, I can show
Show
you
me,
another
this
one,
isn't
that's
a
fine.
contradiction.
I can show you another one, that's
Show
fine,
me
right?
another one.
Let's
Because
go to
this
Surah
isn't a contradiction.
1919.
Show me 19.
Let's go through 1919. So for everyone who's seeing, first of all, the Quran talks about Dhul-Qarnayn. Dhul-Qarnayn doesn't exist. Therefore, the
How
Quran
have
is
you
lying.
proven that?
Because, okay, you
Show
know what?
me in history where
Let's
you have
do
the
it.
proof that
Let's
he
do it
doesn't exist.
sequentially.
Show me.
Let's do
show me,
sequentially.
show me, show me. You
Let's,
said it
okay,
doesn't
you
exist.
know what? You know what?
Show
I'll
me.
do it.
Because you come
Please.
from the 5th century.
I'll do it.
poet.
Let's do it sequentially, right? So, for everyone who doesn't know, Dhul-Qarnayn is a fairy tale told in the Quran. Let me show you why it's a fairy tale. We start at Surah 18:83. It reads as follows. And they ask you about Dhul-Qarnayn. Say, this is Allah talking to Muhammad. Say, I will read for you an account of him as a reminder. So, you know, this is something that has happened before the time of Muhammad. So we can say this is a pre-7th century event. Let's carry on reading. Ayah 84. Indeed, we empowered him in the land, doesn't say what land, and bought him all kinds of means. Okay, awesome. Ayah 85. So he pursued a certain course, doesn't say what course. Awesome fairy tale. Ayah 86. Until
he's calling
he
the
had
Quran a
reached,
fairy tale.
quiet.
It hurts them that there are contradictions
Until
in the
he had
Bible
reached
that they cannot prove.
the setting of
Like
the
Jesus,
sun,
Judas's death
he
and stuff.
found it
This is
in
what
a
started this
murky
conversation and he doesn't
spring.
want to answer.
And by the way, there's a Qurat that says that he found it in a hot spring. And this is from Ibn Kathir, whatever. So, and found a people in its vicinity. So he has charted a course and he has found some people in the vicinity of this murky / hot spring. Awesome.
Okay.
And we said, Allah said, Dhul-Qarnayn, you may either punish or else treat them kindly. So Allah gives them two options here, right? So he's charted a course so far. Awesome.
I don't understand.
Let's
You're saying
keep
it's a
on
fairy
going.
tale.
Let's keep on going, right? So we don't know who Dhul-Qarnayn is. He's charted a course that we don't know where he went, and he's found somewhere where the sun set either
Like we don't
in
know
a
who wrote the
murky
Bible
spring
until today.
or a hot spring,
Yeah.
and he's found people in that area. Awesome. Let's keep going. We're on the same page. Now, Allah gives him the option to either punish or bless his people. Let's see what he does. He said, this is Dhul-Qarnayn, as for the ones who has committed injustice, we will punish him. Then he will be returned to his Lord, and he will punish him with a dreadful punishment. So Dhul-Qarnayn here is going to punish some people, and Allah is going to do it again, so double time punishments. But as for the one who has attained faith and has acted righteously, then for him is the excellent reward as a repayment. And we will speak to him with ease regarding our command. Let's move on. Ayah 89. Then he pursued a course. Again, Zulkarnain went somewhere else now. Until he reached the rising of the sun, he found it rising
So
on
he
the
went to the
people.
east.
He went somewhere else, right? So
That's
we
east,
can
rising
assume, we
of
can
the
assume
sun.
it's the east.
It's
So
east.
he went somewhere where he was setting the spring and now it's rising somewhere else. Awesome. Okay, so he's charted the entire globe now.
That's why they call him
go.
Dhul-Qarnayn.
Okay, but we don't know who he is though. Interesting.
You
So,
don't know, that's it.
no, you don't know either. Until,
My friend.
and Allah doesn't know either,
My
it
friend.
seems, because we could
Allah
put
doesn't
more
know.
detail there if he did.
Allah knows what you
Now,
don't know.
Ayah
If you
89,
know-
sorry,
know,
Ayah 90.
tell me who-
Quiet,
how Judas
please.
died.
Until he reached the rising of the sun, he found it rising on a people from whom he had provided no shelter from it.
The point.
Ayah 91.
You
So,
don't understand. You just told me the Quran. Mashallah.
quiet. Let's read that Quran, man. Come on. So it was, and surely we encompassed what had with knowledge.
Can you
Then
some-
he pursued a course. So now he's gone to the third way until he reached the point separating two barriers. He
Okay.
found besides them a people who could barely comprehend any word. Okay, 94. Then Zulkarnain, they said to Zulkarnain, Gog and Magog are corrupting the land. What land? We don't know. So, can we make for you a tribute on contribution that you build a barrier between us and them? So now they have told Zulkarnain, hey, listen, we know you're lit, build us a barrier, please, and we'll pay you for it. Zulkarnain replies in Ayah 95 of Surah 18, he said, what my Lord has empowered me with is better than the reward that they could give him. Just assist me with the manpower, and I will set the barricade between you and them.
My friend, get to
So
the point.
here's the point.
I have to leave
Zulkarnain,
soon.
quiet
Don't
please.
move. Get to
Zulkarnain
the
is
point.
going to build these
me
random
the
people
contradiction.
of a random land a barrier that will separate them from Gog and Magog. Awesome.
Okay.
Or Yajuj and Majuj.
So what does that prove?
Let's keep going. Now, here's the juicy part. Ayah 96. Bring me blocks of iron. Iron is the
Iron,
key word
hadid,
here.
okay.
So this has to be in the Iron Age, right? Awesome. Let's keep going. Then, when he had leveled up between two cliffs, he said, blow. And having turned it into fire, he said, bring me tar and pour it over. Some translations say, bring me molten copper, but whatever. Okay? And then, Ayah 97. So neither could they climb nor penetrate it. Ayah 98. He said, this is a mercy from my Lord. But when the promise of my Lord comes to turn, he will turn it into a flat surface, and the promise of my Lord has always been true. And we left them surging upon one another, and this is the 99, and we left them surging upon one another on that day, and the trumpet was blown, and we gathered them together, and Ayah 100, and we displayed hell to the deniers on that day in its full display. So, now, very simple.
Show me a contradiction. I don't know.
Very simple. We are now told, pretty much, we are now told that Allah has allowed Zulkarnain to travel. Now, Zulkarnain, we don't know. He traveled somewhere else, and then when he got there, ask Allah, man, ask Allah. But ultimately, wait, pause. When he gets there, he builds a wall for these people, right? And this wall is so big that somehow it's formed a permanent barrier between these people who couldn't understand him.
You read it yourself.
Listen very carefully. He formed the barrier.
You read it for yourself.
He formed the barrier between those who couldn't
Doesn't say
understand him and the other side of Gog and Magog, right? No worries. So, where's the wall? Where's the wall today? Where is it?
Contradiction, you need to have two ideas.
Awesome. We have reality. We have all the large structures, all the megalithic structures on the planet. We know where they are. Now, here's the juicy part. This structure we're talking about is supposed to be inhabited. It is literally blocking a large section of people off from the modern world. Do we have any large wall anywhere in the world that is set between two mountains that is layered in iron and covered in copper. Anywhere in the world, anywhere. I'll take it.
My friend,
Anywhere.
He said, first of all,
That's the only contradiction you find in the Quran.
Hey,
he said it's permanent.
you
but
said,
the Quran
so
says
sorry,
that it isn't.
his friend over here said that if you can just find me one,
He's my
I'll
brother
leave
in
Islam,
but
right?
I don't know him personally.
We don't know each other.
Wait,
my brother in
your Islamic brother over here said if you can show him one contradiction, he'll leave Islam.
Yes.
I showed him one. Now please
Where is the
leave Islam.
contradiction? Show me.
Where is the wall? Where's Dhul Qarnayn? They don't exist. They're fairy tale characters.
Where is the wall? Where is the... We don't know.
The burden of evidence would be on finding the wall, because yes, lots of things are undiscovered about the ancient world, but and I hate to, my friend call it a fairy tale, but
You can call
is
it whatever you want, it's your belief.
Is it important whether the wall actually existed or not?
Yeah.
It's the lesson.
No, it's
that's learned.
important.
Jesus, the Bible, the Torah are all filled with parables and stories.
May I tell you why?
Excuse me, I want to clarify something.
May I tell you why?
You said the wall is permanent?
Yes.
Well,
Okay.
massive
What does it say in the Quran?
So this is in the ayah. So he declared, "This is a mercy from my Lord." And when the promise of my Lord comes to pass, you know what that is, by the way.
When the promise of my Lord comes to pass,
You know what that is?
He promised them that He's going to keep them safe, but when it comes to pass, its time is done.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. He will level it to the ground. And wait. And my Lord
Promise is ever true.
Okay.
So it doesn't say it's permanent.
Okay. Wait a second. But you know what the promise is?
He promised them
It's
to
the
keep
day
them
of
safe.
no, it's the day of judgment.
No, my friend, it doesn't say that.
Go to
It doesn't
Trinity.
say that.
Please.
قال هذا
Go and
رحمة
look.
من ربي
Okay.
فإذا جاء وعد ربي
Okay.
وعد ربي جعله ذكاء
So, wait a
وكان وعد ربي
second.
حقا.
Are you saying the wall isn't here anymore? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
Please
So-
go to Trinity and you will see, no, Trinity, Al Trinity.
Trinity,
Yeah?
okay.
Okay, you will see that in Trinity it talks about this wall falling on the day of judgment, and then the people
This is one
of
translation.
Gog
This
and
is one
Magog,
translation of it.
listen,
I've heard many arguments,
okay,
but none of them know.
don't forget that people are living there
Yeah.
and they're not free yet, they
Yeah.
are still digging, right? So ultimately, at some point in the future, the wall will fall, the people
is your
behind,
interpretation of it,
nope,
my friend.
that's literally what is in Trinity.
Yeah.
They will come out and they will drink the Euphrates River,
Are there other
and
narrations
then they
describing
will
what it
go and destroy the rest of the world
friend,
until
I told you,
they
show
try
me-
to fire arrows at Allah, and Allah will cause a growth on their necks and they will all die.
This is your understanding, and this is telling
That's
these
what
narrations.
Trinity says.
Okay, why don't it's not the Quran?
So,
I told you,
okay.
show me a contradiction in the
So
Quran.
Trinity is wrong, yeah?
I'm not saying that he's wrong. I still have to look at it. But
The wall
I'm saying
doesn't
that in the
exist,
Quran,
therefore the Quran's lying.
My friend, the Quran itself, the story in it, it showed a person that went and did things, okay, and it doesn't say who that person is specifically, what that place is specifically. So to base your belief that a contradiction happened based on the information that is provided without proving the opposite or having evidence of the opposite, it's not a contradiction.
If
Show
I
me a
tell you,
contradiction.
if
Show
I
me
tell
another
you
one because you
that I
tried
have
here.
a unicorn on my shoulder that you can't see, it is not upon you to prove that it's not there.
No.
It's upon me to prove that it is there. It's called the burden of evidence,
You said
right?
that- exactly, exactly. So you're saying there is a contradiction. Show
You're
me where the
making a
contradiction
positive
is.
assertion, right?
You're
And
saying that there is a
the
contradiction. Show
exists
me where it
in
is.
that Dhul Qarnayn doesn't exist, right?
Where is that?
Dhul Qarnayn doesn't exist
Evidence.
because he lacks evidence, therefore he doesn't exist, right? If somebody exists in history, we normally have like paperwork about them. We have some monument somewhere maybe
Let me
that
make
can
it.
run as
Let me
they
make it.
existed.
Maybe you didn't get
If
understand.
Dhul Qarnayn was so powerful,
You've been talking for hours.
wait, pause.
No.
If
because
Dhul
I have
Qarnayn
to
is so
go to cinema, I have a
powerful,
movie.
why is there not a single monument anywhere of
My
him?
friend.
Why is there not a single city anywhere named after him? Why is there no indication of their existing?
I'll show you another example. Jesus is portrayed as a white man in many churches. Does that show that he's a white person in reality?
It's a portrayal.
It's a portrayal. So
Now,
that
are you
portrayal
saying-
is not accurate. So
Okay.
to have a statue of a
Right.
person and calling him Dhul Qarnayn doesn't prove
Right.
that it's right.
No, but it
So
proves
so it
that
doesn't prove
somebody
anything.
called Dhul Qarnayn
does not prove
existed,
anything.
right?
It
So,
says
for
we have a
example,
portrayal in the
think
Quran.
about all the
We have
evidence
a
you
portrayal in
have
the
for
Quran.
why you think Muhammad existed, right?
Muhammad,
Now,
because we
apply
have the
that to
seerah.
Dhul Qarnayn.
My friend, Dhul Qarnayn is not Muhammad. He is not a prophet.
But
okay?
he's cooler than Muhammad, right? Because
No,
he
no,
can
cool.
fire
Listen,
men, right?
Stop using that.
So,
these
ultimately,
silly
my
arguments.
friend,
show me a
you
contradiction.
cannot find
Show me
Dhul
a contradiction.
Qarnayn anywhere, meaning that
Like
story
Judas' death.
is not real.
Show
That
me
story
a contradiction
is just
like
a
Judas'
fabrication
death.
and a
Show
fairy
me a
tale
contradiction like
that
Judas' death.
existed in the 5th century
Show
before
me
Islam
a
was even
contradiction
here.
like
So,
Judas'
are you going
death.
to leave Islam now or
Show
not?
me a contradiction like Judas's death. This is what I'm waiting for. Judas, in Acts,
So-
it says that he died in a certain way. Matthew, it says he died in a certain way.
Okay.
In one story, it says he threw the money. The other, it says he gave them the money. One story, it says he purchased the land. The other, it says the priests bought the land. Show me a contradiction as clear as day, like that. Don't stop playing around like that. If you want me to respect you, I respect your arguments. Last time we talked, and you gave it your best, but you couldn't prove. And I respect a human that tries to prove their point truly, but you're not doing that.
I
Show
told
me a
me
contradiction.
that all I had to give you was one. So now you want more.
Show, no. This isn't a contradiction.
What
you
is
haven't
it?
given me
What
one.
is it?
What
What
you
is
said?
it? Yeah, what is
you
it?
told me a story that you don't understand.
Do you get it?
I get it 100%.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Allah
so
tells us
please,
that there is ultimate-
where can I find Dukane?
You can't find it.
Why not?
You can't find him
Why
because it
not?
doesn't say who he is. Some
Okay.
people are mentioned by name. Like, I'll show you the biggest proof that this is true.
Yep.
There is a surah that depicts or talks about the Prophet's uncle, Abu Lahab. Right? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. تبت يدا أبي لهب وتب ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب سيصلى نارا ذات لهب وامرأته حمالة الحطب في جيدها في جيدها حبل من مسد. That person was alive at that time. The Prophet's uncle was alive at that time, and that surah came telling him that he's gonna go to hell because he's gonna die a kafir, an unbeliever. So, if it wasn't Allah's word, a person would go like, what if he's lying, if the Prophet Muhammad was lying? He wouldn't say something like that because he doesn't know the future. And if Abu Lahab, just to spite the Prophet, he would go like, I'm a Muslim now. It's gonna basically contradict that surah. But he didn't, because Allah, the creator of you and me, you perceive him as God or whatever, we still have the same creator. So that surah is the biggest proof that Allah knows al-ghaib, the unknown, and he knew that the Prophet's uncle is gonna die a kafir. That same God gave us the story of Dhul Qarnayn. So when he tells us that this happened, it is true.
Wait.
So this is what we believe.
Wait. Prove to me that Abu Lahab is in hell.
Abu Lahab is in hell?
Prove it, please.
Okay, I'll tell you from an Islamic perspective. We believe to die a Muslim, you go to heaven. A simple Muslim, you're gonna go to heaven. But Abu Lahab did not die as a Muslim. He didn't say that Allah is, he didn't say La ilaha illallah Sayyidina Muhammad Rasulullah. You know the Shahada. He didn't say that he believes that Muhammad is a prophet. So, Islamically, he died a non-Muslim. So, he goes to hell. So this is what I'm saying.
So you're telling me that you can't prove he's in hell. So you can't prove he's in hell. All you can do is believe that Allah was correct about this occurrence. Therefore, everything else Allah says is correct too.
My friend, it's the same premise that you're gonna prove to me that Hitler, prove to me that
there's a
Hitler,
saying in the West,
a believer in
right?
Jesus, Hitler, a
There's a
believer in
saying
Jesus,
in the West
is gonna
that
go to
a
heaven.
dead clock can
Jesus-
be right twice a day.
This is the same
The
concept.
Bible
Sorry.
does not say that Hitler can go to heaven.
Hitler
So
said,
you're going to
believes
have
in
to
Jesus
tell
is
me,
God.
please, that
Hitler
Abu Lahab
believes-
is in hell.
Hitler
right?
believes
Because
that
if your
Jesus is
entire
God.
belief is simply
Your
based
entire
upon
belief
somebody
is
dying
that
as
Jesus
a
died for your
mushrik,
sin.
and Allah saying it before he
My
died,
friend,
if that's the
my
only
friend,
thing that you believe in,
Hitler
in order to allow you to
died
believe everything
a
else,
believer in
that's
Jesus.
not the case.
Hitler believed in
the
Jesus.
Quran,
Hitler
you might
believed in
have some
Jesus.
truth, but then the
Hitler
rest of it
believed
might not be
in
true
Jesus.
as well.
Hitler believed
and
in
that
Jesus.
creates a problem.
Hitler
so you
believed
believe
Jesus
in a
was the Son
God
of God.
who is correct
Hitler,
sometimes
this means he's gonna go to
and
heaven.
correct some other times.
So you're saying
right?
that your God is gonna,
You're gonna
is
have
gonna
to
have
prove
Hitler
to
walk
me
free and
that
go to heaven.
A, Abu Lahab is in
My
hell,
friend,
and then B, even
Hitler's
further,
gonna go to
that
heaven.
Hitler believed in God
Hitler
and that
believed
he's
that
going
Jesus
to
was
heaven.
the Son of God.
You have to believe that, Chris.
Hitler
Please
believed.
prove that.
Hitler believed in the Son of God.
Please prove
Hitler
that.
is the biggest Christian.
Please prove that.
What do you mean prove that?
Any
it's in
proof,
history.
right? Like for
It's in
for
Christian.
example,
He's a Christian.
can you find me Hitler saying anywhere that he was a Christian?
Yes, he is.
Like, can you find me
Yes,
Hitler
Hit-
going to mass? Can you find me Hitler doing like a sermon or
Yes,
anything?
it is. It's there.
What you want? Huh? Oh, okay, sorry. All right.
انا اللي هي فيه عشان ما يزعجهمش. انا ما
Can
خليتش
you show me this,
خليك على
right?
جنب.
Because, for example, I can say that Stalin was a Muslim, right?
Stalin was a Muslim.
Yeah, but then, like, I have no proof of that, right? But I can just say it. So, in the same way, can you please prove to me that Hitler was a
Hitler
Christian?
is a Christian, whether you like it or not.
No,
and
but-
you know
but,
that he's a
like,
Christian.
tell me
I don't
why.
have to prove
Because
it.
he's white? Is that why?
No.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be white.
Tell me
But
why, please.
He followed the church.
What church? Sorry.
Hitler, their church. And their
Which
German.
one?
Yeah, my friend.
The German church.
You
So the German church told
that he
Hitler
is-
to start
and
World
we've
War
argued
II.
this.
Is that correct?
We've argued this before.
Again,
And you
if
know that he's a
if you-
Christian.
so there's something called Hitchens razor, right?
Hitchens razor.
Yeah. If you bring forward a claim with no evidence, I can just dismiss it without any evidence.
The same thing for Dhul Qarnayn.
Okay.
This is the same argument.
So
this is what I'm trying to
my
say.
evidence for Dhul
You don't have
Qarnayn
evidence.
is that he doesn't exist anywhere in history.
Show me.
Nobody talks about
Show me the
him,
proof of his non-existence.
and no one talks about him because if
And
somebody
Hitchens
that
razor
grand
was disputed.
existed,
Hitchens razor was disputed
somebody
because it's
that
an atheist
grand
point of
existed-
view. And that same mechanism of
I
argument
don't-
that
you
Hitchens
can apply it
advocated
to
for can
any
be applied to
argument.
atheism, and it can prove that
you
atheism
can
is wrong.
apply it to any
So, my
argument,
friend,
not just
exactly.
religion.
So it doesn't make it right.
ultimately, if
This is what I'm
Dhul
saying.
Qarnayn is spoken about directly by Allah, but somehow, unlike Abu Talib, we cannot confirm that he existed, then Allah is not telling the truth here.
We cannot
So
prove that
likely,
your father exists.
your book
cannot believe-
contains
we cannot
fairy
prove-
tales.
Did Jesus exist?
Aye, right?
Well, what is the proof?
You can have multiple
Did Jesus write the
people
Bible?
attesting to
Did
it,
Jesus
right?
and the companions
so you
wrote
can
the
have
Bible? Who
multiple
wrote the
people,
Bible?
thousands of people
wrote the Bible?
attesting that Jesus Christ was here, that he lived,
Who wrote the
died,
Bible?
and resurrected, and he charged
wrote
people
the Bible?
to go out and preach the gospel to all nations.
Who wrote
Can
the
we
Bible?
find anything like that from Dhul
Who wrote
Qarnayn?
the Bible?
Again,
The Bible that you follow.
we
who
are
wrote it?
talking about your religion
I'm
today.
talking about your religion
You
too.
said to the camera that if I can show you
One
a contradiction,
One.
you would leave Islam.
I will.
Are
Wallahi, I
you
will.
ready to leave Islam, my friend, and potentially look
Show
into
me a
Christianity?
contradiction.
I
I've been
showed
standing
it to
here
you.
for 20 minutes.
I
Show
showed it
me
to
a
you.
contradiction.
And because there
Where is the
is no
contradiction?
Dhul Qarnayn,
Where is the
that means that
contradiction?
when the Quran talks of him
Yeah.
as a real person, it's
Yeah.
not true.
My friend, show me a contradiction. Don't tell me that there isn't a name for that
Okay,
person mentioned.
So,
that's an evidence.
do you
That's not
remember
evidence.
how you defined a contradiction in the beginning?
It's something
right?
that is unreasonable or
Or does
something
not align
against
with
evidence.
reality,
Exactly.
right? Like
Reality.
Dhul Qarnayn.
Let me explain
But
it more.
it sounds
Let me explain
like
it
what
more.
you want
Let me
is
explain it more.
you want two tellings of a single story that sound different. That's what you want.
No.
And I can do that for you.
That's one part of contradictions. Another contradiction is saying
Okay.
that tree grows apples, and when you go and check, it grows oranges. It doesn't have to say
Okay.
that you checked physically.
Okay.
But in history, the people that were closer to
Let's
the time
go
of the
to
Prophet,
Surah
they
19:19.
didn't contradict that. They didn't say that's a contradiction or a lie.
Let's go to Surah 19:19. Because the people who were near the Prophet didn't know jack about the entire world. So they had no way of confirming if he was lying or not.
So
That's why.
the time of Jesus was before Muhammad. So you're saying that the time of Jesus had no reality, or it cannot be based
Is
on
that what I
reality.
said?
You're saying at the time
that
of the
what I
Prophet
said?
they lacked knowledge.
The people, in Muhammad's time, had no clue what a Dhul Qarnayn was, had no clue what it
Where
all
did he
was.
get the news
They
from?
just believed him.
Where did he get the news from?
So, there is something called the Romance of Alexandra. Look at it.
But it's not him.
It effectively tells the story of Alexander the Great building a wall. And in fact, it even refers to him. You're aware that Dhul Qarnayn means the two-horned one.
Yes,
Right?
Dhul Qarnayn.
So apparently Alexander the Great in this story wears a helmet with two horns on it. Right?
So this contradicts what
likely
you're saying.
that would mean that
This
the
contradicts
story
what you're
is
saying.
no, but listen
shows that there are
carefully.
people saying it's between
Wait,
this person and that
wait.
person. So there is
Here's the
historical.
problem. It's not historical.
It is
It's
historical.
literally
No, it's
called
not.
the Romance of Alexandra. It's a story
My
about
friend.
him that is fictional.
No, okay, you're talking about a fictional character. What I told you at the beginning
No,
of this
so I'm
argument.
talking about.
Well, listen, if you're
So
gonna,
wait,
if you're gonna keep
is-
interrupting me,
is Dhul
and
Qarnayn
you're just
fictional?
talking over me, you're not gonna get anything through.
You said a fictional character, right? Is Dhul Qarnayn
My
fictional?
friend, the contradiction
right,
that I am
go
looking
for
for. I asked you for something. I told you, show me a contradiction
So let's
that
go to
shall
Surah
let me
19.
finish. Okay, دقيقة بس. Contradiction.
Brother, can you
My
please
friend.
bring us Surah 66, verse 12,
سيبك منه،
please?
والله، تمام.
Bring it up, please.
He's my brother. Anyway.
That's what I said.
Alright, خلاص الموضوع. The summary of this argument. I asked you to kindly show me a contradiction. A contradiction is something that opposes reality or
Dhul Qarnayn
evidence
is
that we
wall.
have in reality. Dhul Qarnayn. I told you that there are narrations and you proved it by yourself. You said Tirmidhi said it is that and that. And there are other stories saying that it could be that person or that person. So,
it's a
there
fairy
is
tale.
evidence. So there is evidence showing that it can be that person or that person.
What's the evidence?
My friend, listen, I'm not a scholar, but I'm arguing to you.
Okay.
I'm arguing that this person that was mentioned has historical, what do you call it? People that he can be that person or that person. And there are historical figures that existed in reality. This is one thing. I told you, show me a
Does Allah
contradiction.
know who
Let
it
me
is?
finish. Show me a contradiction like Judas' death. Same Bible. Acts says he hung himself. Matthew says he fell headlong. Show me something like that, and this is the third time we talk,
Actually,
second time we talk about this, and you haven't
By
proven
your
anything.
definition, that isn't even a contradiction, right?
It is a
Because
contradiction.
both those two things can happen in reality.
No,
Right?
this is a clear contradiction.
So actually,
it's a clear
what you're
contradiction.
looking for, my friend, I said it before, what you're looking for is is two tellings of one story that sound different. That's
Like the
what
Bible.
you think a contradiction
Like the
is.
Bible.
And I can show you this,
Like the Bible.
right?
Show
Let us
us.
let us find out who is Isa's daddy
Isa's
in the
daddy.
Quran.
Isa doesn't have a father.
Okay. Now, when
Even
we
in the
go
Quran
to
it says
Surah
he doesn't have a
19:19, right? We can see that the spirit
Listen,
of
say
Allah
lies.
appears to Mary or Maryam
No, Allah.
in the
Tamam.
form, right, of a well-proportioned man, and he says to her, "I will bestow upon you a pure child."
Okay, what does that mean?
We go to Surah 66, verse 12. It says, "Remember Mary or Maryam, who protected her chastity, so we blew into it a spirit from us."
Okay.
Now, we have Allah in Surah 66, verse 12.
All right.
We have the spirit of Allah in Surah 19:19, right? Both of them are partaking in the creation of Isa.
Okay.
Who is Isa's daddy? Is it
Alright.
Allah or is it the spirit
This
of Allah?
is the silliest argument I've
Okay.
ever heard in my life.
So don't forget,
This is the
he's
silliest
looking
argument.
for one occurrence
Okay, I'm gonna
with
give you the
two
best.
descriptions
I'm
of
gonna
it.
give you the
there
best
we go.
Analogy to understand it through.
An analogy.
Yeah.
So you can't reconcile
No,
who
no,
it
no.
is.
You're gonna understand what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Okay, and if it doesn't make sense to you, I don't know. You have to get checked.
All right.
When you send a message to your father or your brother, who sent the message? You or the phone? You or the messenger?
When I send a message
on.
to my father,
Yeah.
right? Can the navigator of the message go
Okay.
to my father and say, "I, your son, am here to give you a hug"? Can he say that?
My friend, the phone.
He can't.
He sent
All
it
he can
when
say
you
is,
open a
"Hey,
phone."
David's papa. David wants to give you a hug." But the spirit of Allah does not go, "Yo, Maryam, Allah is gonna give you a baby."
My friend,
He says, "I'm gonna do it."
Allah is gonna do it. Allah gave her.
It does
With
not
His
say
command.
that in Surah
What do you mean
19:19.
it
That is
doesn't
a
say
lie.
that? Where is it?
Pull it out, please. I will bestow
I
upon
need
you
to
a
go.
pure
I
child.
have a movie. I have to see at 19:45.
Go do your
But
thing,
honestly,
my guy.
friend, I wanted
Surah
to tell you one thing, honestly.
19:19, Surah
When you
66:12.
argue the way you argue.
So you are talking
okay,
about two
you-
occurrences of one
get your-
instance,
get your facts
and the
straight.
spirit of Allah and Allah
Let me
are
give
not
you
the
advice.
same
Let me
unless
give
they
you
are.
advice. Let me give you
Because
advice.
if you believe that, that would mean that
Let me-
Allah can
let-
come
let me-
down
let
here in
me-
the form of a man.
Let me give you an advice,
Let
okay?
me hear it, please.
Let me give you an advice. Go look at the meaning of a contradiction and correct your understanding of what it means.
Can I give you
because
advice?
What you gave me is not a contradiction. A contradiction like the age of, I think, Aaron or whoever it is that's mentioned in or Jacob in the Bible, the way Judas died. These are contradictions and clear contradictions.
So you're talking
Okay,
about
I honestly
two
have to go.
tellings of
I
one
honestly have to
instance.
go.
My
Okay?
advice,
But there is no
leave
argument.
Islam.
You have no argument.
My advice
You
is
have
to
no
leave
argument.
Islam, my friend, okay?
See you next week. Have a better argument.
Leave Islam, my guy, okay? That's what
Think
I
about
think.
your life.
It's better for you. All right. So, spoke to an individual who cannot understand what a contradiction means. I would define a contradiction as something that does not comport with either reality or with logic. So he was saying that in the Bible there are contradictions, and what he is talking about in that sense is that there are two tellings or more of a singular event. Supposedly, if you can show me, according to him, one contradiction in the Quran, he will leave Islam. Dhul-Qarnayn doesn't exist, his wall doesn't exist, it's a fairy tale. So when it came then to the example of Maryam and how she conceived Isa, Surah 19:19 and Surah 66:12 tell two different tales. 19:19 says that this act was done by the Spirit of Allah, and 66:12 says it was done by Allah Himself. So who is the daddy? These are two tellings of one event. So by his standards, that is a contradiction, and I gave him my final advice, which is to leave Islam. There we go. Anyway, that's everything. God bless. See you all later.